Vanakkam, I am Goms. So this week I handled a Red Hat OpenShift Devo to IT session for Hong Kong IT team. They are supporting a hospital environment over there. So the team includes SRE team, cloud team, OpenShift L1 engineers, and even developers. So they wanted to know not just about Red Hat OpenShift, rather the overall pipeline structure, how Red Hat OpenShift fits in into a private cloud, what are the things which they can help to have a reliable and high availability environment over there, and several resilience and monitoring related questions as well. So they were asking several questions which were related to their working environment, right? So it was not just about Red Hat OpenShift, Red Hat curriculum alone, which was very interesting. So I just thought that I'll share those questions here. They were asking around 17 questions. I just listed out all those questions. I cannot run all the 17 questions at one shot. I'll just go through the questions and brief on those answers here one by one. So to start with, the first question was from one of the guy named Com. So the question is regarding the circuit breaker. So any circuit breaker can be in a private cloud except resilience. So we wanted to know the potential problem in private cloud and wanted to know how to fix it when it happens. So they were also looking for examples regarding the circuit breaker for OpenShift environment. So before we delve into the topic, I just thought that first of all we need to understand about what is circuit breaker. So from a layman perspective, so let's say we are in a house and we are having fridge, oven, TV, washing machine, and all those things. So suddenly, let's say that the oven starts consuming too much of power, so causing an electrical overload. So what will happen? If you have a circuit breaker, that will just protect this particular house from a electrical power. How? It will just isolate this oven. It will cut off all the power to this particular oven so that we can save the entire house from a fire mishappening. Right? So the rest of the house is being saved. Similar way, we can consider the private cloud as well. So in a private cloud, we run multiple services, right? We run applications, databases, services, and everything. So if the components like network or your control node is failing, or if your application is taking a huge workload, if you have a circuit breaker configured, that will detect the issue, isolate that particular component alone, or it will just redirect the traffic to the other available component so that we are saving the entire failure of the application. The customers will not see an issue on the environment. Right? Meanwhile, what we can do is we can take that particular affected component alone and start fixing that. Displayed the potential problems because they wanted to understand, list down all the potential problems in the private cloud with respect to Red Hat OpenShift container platform. So there can be many, but I'm listing the key stuff here regarding the issues can be around the control plane, sidecar issues, network issues, service health, and monitoring. And you can just take some time to read the hints what I have given there, which will help you to just correlate the issues in your environment. So now, when it comes to circuit breaker for Red Hat OpenShift specifically, we can categorize into three different areas: application, platform, and infrastructure. And they also wanted me to specifically categorize in this way because seems like their team has been split across multiple teams, wherein one team handles infrastructure, other team handles platform, and one more regarding application, and SRE is also coming on top of that. So that's why I just had to categorize this way. I've just given you the example here. With respect to application, right? Let's say your application is overloading with too many requests. You didn't expect that, but your application is getting too many requests. So now, if you have configured a circuit breaker like service mesh or istio, what it can do is it can trip and block the new request temporarily, so that we won't have a entire failure, right? So if you configure service mesh as a circuit breaker, we are saved. And on the other hand, with respect to platform, let's say one of your OpenShift worker nodes is under stress. We used to get these sort of issues when you describe your node or when you check the logs of your node, right? The event specifically, or when your node is getting unresponsive. So now the platform can automatically shift the workload to the other available worker nodes. I understand that these are the default configurations what we have within OpenShift, but we have to make sure that these circuit breaker capabilities and configurations are properly configured there so that your application is being taken to the next available node and it continues running as well, right? Then finally, on the infrastructure part, we can use a network policy or machine config. So this will ensure network isolation and prevent the infrastructure-wide failures due to misconfigurations. So overall, we can implement circuit breaker across your environment. I mean, can be for even the master node failure, other network issues, or API or scheduler issues to ensure that the traffics are being tracked and traffic are being routed properly. And along with this, I've also given you the sample of the YAML files, the manifest file for service mesh, network policy, horizontal pod autoscaler, and the machine config as well. So in continuation to this, to the next question, we will talk about the pod restart policies, whether that is applicable to a container or a pod. In case if I wanted to apply the restart policy for a pod, how that is possible? Do we have a inbuilt features within OpenShift or do we need to configure in a separate way? We'll talk about that in our next session. Thank you.